Right, welcome back to the It's Only Kids Football podcast, the place where it's definitely only kids football until you're 3-1 down and questioning every life decision you've ever made. This is the end of season review and we're wrapping it all up in style, looking back at the entire season, the highs, the lows, the moments you replay in your head at 2 a.m. and the ones you'd quite happily delete forever. And I'm not doing it alone. I'm joined by my co-host, assistant and day one grassroots survivor, Mike Clark. He's been through it all with me this season, lived it, breathed it, and yeah, probably cried about it as well. Let's get into it. Mikey Clark, what are you saying?
I'm actually really looking forward to this one. The look back across the season. I actually feel like I've forgotten most of what happened, and what happened at the start of the season felt like 2 years ago. So it's going to be a good one to reminisce.
What I will say, I'm not happy about this. We're back in the trenches. We're not in the studio. This tin pot operation now. record. We're back. This is grassroots podcasting right now. And I'm not happy. I thought we'd been promoted to the Premier League and now we're back in the fucking Ryman League. This is bullshit.
It's temporary,
anyway,
mate. It's temporary.
Yes, it is. Just want to assure everyone we will be back in the studio, but we couldn't align our schedules with Mr. Important, the game changer, Alex. So he's our production guy, so we've had to record remotely. But anyway, before we get into the end of season review, we did have one final game to play before the end of the season, and it was against Holbridge Whites. Tough opponent. We've drawn with them twice this season, 2-2 at their place. We had beaten 3-0 on the carpet, and when we played on the carpet, we was on the carpet again for the final day. And you know what? I thought we played really, really well. I thought it was actually, I'd sort of say it was one of our best performances of the season. And when I was clipping the highlights together, some of the football, it was the 1-2s with Freddie and Logan, and actually Ollie's goal. Albie makes a save. Harry plays the great ball down the line to Parker. His first time layoff to Ollie. Ollie plays then the first time pass again to Parker, who makes a run into the down the wing. He's some trickery, beats his man, he crosses, and it falls to Ollie and he smashes it in. And I absolutely love that goal. So I really enjoyed it. We did win. It was a comprehensive win, but I thought we played really well. And give them their dues. Albie was one of the contenders for man of the match. So while the scoreline was 7-2. It wasn't, and we did have a lot of chances, but they had chances too, and Albie was a contender for man of the match. What did you think of our final game of the season?
Yeah, I thought similar to what you've just said there. I think we played really, really, really well. I was really just looking forward to the game. I like playing John and their team because they're good. It's always a good game. I think it's been, like you said, it was 2-2, wasn't it? So it's always close games, and in those games we've actually played pretty well, but I did always think, if we turn it on like we do sometimes, then we'll give this a real good go. Did I think we would? Not really. Not really. I think
not those 9 a.m. kickoffs.
Yeah, 9 a.m. kickoffs. I mean, we had no excuse. We were on the carpet, the weather was good. I mean, it was written in the stars that we were going to play well here, but typically when that happens, we don't. And but we did, and they all turned up. They played superbly from the first minute, and like you said, from Albie all the way through the team, everyone had either solid performance or exceptional performance.
The effort from the boys was spot on. They worked hard. We just played some great football. The standout performers were, for me, Parker, who got man of the match in the end, and definitely this is starting to feel like the Parker before he got ill, he was unwell, missed quite a few weeks. Now he's starting to find his rhythm again, and I think this was his best performance. You started to see little glimpses of it against the Blues, and then today definitely back to his usual sharpness and his movement off the ball. Albie, brilliant in goal. He made a number of good saves, but he was coming for the crosses, shouting keepers. He was cheering the boys on, shouting encouragement. And what we've learned of Albie is he needs an audience. So his nan and granddad came to watch him, and he just shows off. He's just a show off. And he was fantastic. I thought Dex was great, and I thought Harry Boy, when I was clipping the bits together, Harry Boy was excellent. Harry's played a lot of he was very calm on the ball and played some great passes out. But yeah, that said, proper team performance. Everyone contributed. So those are my standout performers.
I said to Albie before that pretend you're on Britain's Got Talent, and there's Simon Cowell in the crowd, and he went, "There is, my nan and granddad are here." he is that guy. He wants the stage. I've never seen him sprint out for a corner, catch the ball, scream "keepers," and then instantly look for the pass like he's David Raya. It was amazing. Loved to see it. He was so good.
It was so funny. He was just I would love to see Albie on Britain's Got Talent as a goalkeeper. Yeah. That would be absolutely phenomenal. Just running off the stage after remembering that he needs a piss halfway through the. And by the way, this was my favourite. I didn't see this, but Molly said that while some kid was down injured, and listen, I hope that that kid was okay. It's not that we're sort of trivialising or laughing at the fact that some kid on Holbridge was down, but while he was down, and I think John had come on to see if he's okay, Albie took this moment due to 3 seconds of boredom and decided it was a good opportunity to do the splits.
It's amazing. I love that boy.
I can't believe I missed him. Why would you do? Can you imagine a Premier League goalkeeper just decided to do the splits? Right?
He was born to go in goal, though, wasn't he? They're all a bit nutty. Yeah. He was born to be a keeper.
That is one of my and I'll be talking about that is one of my favourite moments of the season, even though I didn't see it. And also on Harry Boyd, his knees were in all sorts of bits. He'd fallen over, but he still put in a great performance and sort of ripped off one of the scabs in the game. But yeah, thought Harry was great. So the goal scorers, Parker got 2, Freddie 2, Logan 2, Ollie 1. We were just... Sometimes when we break forward, that I think is when we're at our best. Yeah. It's like when we break quickly and play the ball quickly. And the boys did that. And in training, we'd worked on... I mean, we didn't really do this, to be honest, but it was about... We worked on switching the play in training. A whole session that was built on that, which I actually really liked the training, the drill that we worked on. And I think it would take the boys, definitely it's going to take them 3 weeks to kind of get the complexity of that drill and how you have to be switched on. But yeah, we moved the ball really quickly.
I'm glad you mentioned that training, because that was top 10 most infuriating training sessions that I've been a part of with this team. It was just mainly again, as usual, mainly because it was our boys that just either couldn't grasp it, didn't have the effort levels, they just were way off it compared to all the other boys. Raf in particular, just the entire session, I got very, very, very annoyed and frustrated with that one. But the good ththing is that I had to shoot straight off because Romy my daughter had a party, so I didn't have that anger moment after training where you just explode. So by the time I actually saw him a few hours later, I was like completely calm and absolutely fine. But at that time, that wasn't good enough. But we've got to do that session again because they need to know the levels.
Yeah, I'll be doing that on Saturday, and I had sort of similar frustrations of Alf, although I kind of felt that just like typical Alf was every time he had the ball, absolutely fine, like excellent, and thought that he definitely came alive the last 10-15 minutes, but I was on him. I was getting on him. Him and Raf were just like daydreaming, which was what was really irritating us. Like, because in this drill, you've got to be switched on because you're trying to switch the play in the conditions of the game, which you'll look it up on Football DNA. I'll put the link in the description, so you can find that session if you want to on Football DNA. You've got to be switched on, and it's hard work because you're moving from side to side. They were just daydreaming, and then there's that switch where once you lose possession, you've now got to try and win it back. And if they're switching play, you've got to work hard to get across the pitch. And those two were just sort of dawdling. Is that a word? Dawdling in the middle of the pitch. They just kind of were just like spaced out, and that was what was so annoying to watch. I will say this though. we don't watch anyone else like we watch them, and some of the other boys might have been doing it as well, and I bet you they were, but you're just honed in on them because it's like it's like CCTV on your own kid. You're just watching them the whole time, and that is why I guarantee you, if we watch that back, the other kids were offending in just the same ways in terms of like effort at times and sharpness and concentration. But when it's your own
possibly.
kid,
it's also it's the answering back, isn't it? You just don't get that with the other kids. That's like red rag to a bull with us, and they were giving it back because they were just getting frustrated, probably with themselves, being honest, because they knew that they were off it. They were making mistakes because they were just asleep. And then they were just getting frustrated, and then we would be on their case, and then they'll get even more frustrated and give it back. So, yeah, that didn't help. But I think it's a good session. Can't wait to see how it goes on Saturday. And, as you said, check it out because it's a good one. Because it's all about switching the play. And it's so easy. There should have been loads of goals. There was loads of goals for one team, but there should have just been loads of goals. So it should be quite a confidence booster in many ways because it is such a wide, narrow pitch that if you switch the ball, you should score because there's loads of people on the wing, or there's a person on the wing every time. So, let's see how we get on.
Another thing I will say in their defence, which is very easy for me to be in their defence now because I'm not in the moment, not wound up, not angry, not like emotionally unstable, is that it is actually quiet. Because remember, the grid is like there's 6 boxes, and you can only score in the box that's in front of the goal. And if you are not concentrating and listening, then you will not get this drill. Like it's quite like is a drill that requires a high level of concentration and being switched on. And though Beavis and Butthead are not famed for their concentration, so sure, give them the ball and they'll do about 5,000 Maradonas and Iniestas, but ask them to concentrate for 5 seconds, and you're asking way too much. But anyway. Also, Hullbridge, I think they're a really good team. I think that they tried to play out, which I love. I don't think their manager John was massively happy with how they played, but like I say, the scoreline would have been disappointing for them, and they would have felt they could have done better. But I do still feel like they gave a pretty good account of themselves because of the amount of opportunities that they created. And their goalkeeper, by the way, was super unlucky on a couple of them as well.
There's a couple of those goals that we actually tend to concede those types of goals where it just, I don't know, just like floats in the air, or it spins in some different way that they expect it, or he just kind of loses sight of the ball. It was a couple of those that, like you said, really unlucky. But again, I thought he had a really, really good game. And I know John said he's been one of their best players all season. You can see why. Also, he's got an absolute monster kick, which does help.
Those drop kicks he was doing were excellent. But again, I definitely want to give out a shout out to Albs because, sometimes we talk on here about goals that we felt he maybe should have done better on. But he's really learning to overcome mistakes, and he's playing with confidence and personality, so that was great for him. I thought Logan he's come on so much this year after sort of not playing too many, like he had things going on at the start of the season, wasn't playing a huge amount, but he's really come on. Some other things I noticed when I was watching back was Dexter and Ralph. I've done it again. I just can't separate them. But Dexter and Ralph and Albs talking loads. Dexter, you can literally hear him telling players what to do out there when he's near the VO. He's giving him players instructions like a proper captain, and that's quite unusual for a kid of 9 years old. But yeah, I love seeing that. He put some great tackles in as well, very physical. Definitely. I thought Raf had some really nice moments on the ball against, like, even if Raf's passing wasn't as accurate, he is doing what we asked him to do, which is being confident. He was beating people and taking the ball forward and staying on the ball. So I think another kind of performance from Raf that sort of showed how confident he's feeling on the ball right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was exactly it. If the passes were a little bit more accurate, it would have gone from a solid 7 out of 10, pushing into the almost the 9s, because he didn't really do anything wrong. It was just the passing wasn't as accurate as it could have been, but I didn't mind it. Came off really happy. He was really happy. He felt like he played well, and he did. So, like you said, he did everything we asked of him.
And Alf, so like watched it back again. It's kind of always the same sort of report for Alf. Decent on the ball, nice touches, skills, passing off both feet. He was involved. I think he was involved in one of the goals. Once he got on that sort of left side and he was playing passes to Logan. Yeah, he plays the pass to Logan, who squares it for Parker. He played another lovely ball to Logan that we didn't manage to score off the back of. Made him captain for a little while, but wanted to take that off because it was too tight on his arm. But let me say this, right? Old me would have that would have really pissed me off. That would have annoyed me. Like, this is an opportunity to be a captain, and you don't want it, and it's too tight around your arm. That would have sent me into. I would have like totally crashed out on that normally, but I was like, okay, fine, just take it off.
Don't you think that's so funny? Because all of these, obviously, we get the catharticism by doing this podcast, and we listen to proper coaches who tell us we were absolutely mental with our behaviour. And now you get to this point where you're like, oh yeah, whatever, you want to take the armband off, take it off, who cares? But that would have sent you sideways, and I would have been the same. And there's so many coaches that would have done that would have then ended the game and thought, what a dickhead, why have I done that? He just wanted to take an armband off. Who cares?
Exactly.
But it's a different switch, isn't it? It's a different switch.
That would have been a surefire crash out from me. Like normally, like I would have been like, "What? You don't want to be captain? Like this is your moment to be a man. You don't want to be a man. Get that armband on fire out there." And but now I'm just like, oh, do you know what? Like maybe it's just a bit uncomfortable in his arm, and I can't be bothered to fiddle about with it and make it loose. So I'll just take it off. And I thought he played well.
He did.
So yeah, pretty happy with him. And that was it. Good, nice way. I went to the pub after, out in the sun. Forgot that I was bald, which I do every summer. Still not used to it after. Still not used. 9 years bald. Still forget every time. Ended up leaving looking like Voldemort had been out in the sun and left his bollocks to get sunburned. So literally looked like a sunburnt testicle. That was how it looked. And a really wrinkly, horrible, like cold testicle. You know, like a testicle, like your balls when they get cold and they tighten. That's what I looked like, except they were sunburnt. So that was
exactly
good.
how I'd describe you to my mates.
And I just want to shout out, by the way, Greg, if you're listening, Greg, I love you, man.
Oh, that was amazing. Ben had seen one of the coaches of the Greens. He'd seen him, and it was a proper in-betweeners moment. He stood up, waved ferociously, Greg, it's me, Ben, Greg.
Listen, right? Listen, let me put this to you, right? Let me put this to you. If you had to see another coach on a sunny day, you're sitting outside the pub, right? If there's one guy you want to see, it's Party Boy Greg, right? You want to see Party Boy Greg. Yeah, but Party Boy Greg was locked down by his kids. He had nowhere to go.
He didn't want to see wrinkly Voldemort testicle over there. He didn't want to see you at all. He was like, all right, yeah, see you later.
He was with his kids. He was fuming. I know that he... See, I'd love to see Reece, but the problem is if you see Reece, then you're finished for the weekend. Like, that's a blackout weekend. Like, there's no breaks with, you are getting absolutely destroyed if you get involved with Reece. So like, you can't have a nice sort of beer with him. So, that was embarrassing, waving at him and getting absolutely pied off.
You sat down, didn't you?
By a bloke, by the way. I don't even know him that well. Like, I've only chatted to him a few times.
It was a classic moment where you sat down and me and Danny looked at you straight away and you were like, oh no, I fucked up.
Yeah, I did. I literally, as soon as I my arse hadn't laid down on the bench and I knew what was coming, because I would have done the same. So yeah. Anyway, a few beers there. Nice way to finish the season. But I just want to mention also, this is one for all those coaches out there. I know you feel this pain because there's nothing that quite annoys me like this, to a level of, it's hard to put into words how much it annoys me, how many footballs we lose. Like how many footballs we had at the start of the season to what we have now, I can't think about it because it makes me too annoyed. I feel too angry about it. Why can't they just boot the balls everywhere and we just lose them? How many footballs? I mean, we've got like 7 or 8 footballs left. Yeah. We must have had 20 plus across the season.
Yeah, easily. We've lost load. We've smashed a load into like thorn bushes, which, you know, you can't really help that much. But we just get through. It's the losing them that is just infuriating, isn't it?
Luckily, Michael, our partner at discountfootballkits.com. And we've ordered a load of new footballs. They came this week. We ordered yellow mitre footballs. So the reason I picked the yellow ones because I felt they might be more identifiable and we're less likely to lose them the same way the Blues got a load of those blue footballs. I thought that was a good idea. Jumped on the website, ordered all the balls, came super quick. We've got it'll be Saturday with the first time the boys see them, and a new match ball as well. So how long will we hold on to these ones? I don't know. But there is that excitement when you give them the new footballs. And that, well, actually, it's not. Do you know what? That's a lie. They're excited, but I'm just watching them irritated, thinking how quickly before these balls get lost.
You must remember it as a kid. I know that the balls have come on leaps and bounds now, but back in the day when you'd have like these rock hard footballs that you'd have into header every 5 seconds, and then you'd get the new ones that came in, and you're like, oh no, I want that ball. I want to play with that ball. It's the same thing now. All the boys want. I can guarantee you, as soon as we get all these new balls out, they won't even look at the other ones. And if we start losing them, and we've got some yellow ones and some white ones, it's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Quick one for the coaches and volunteers listening. If you're sorting kits for a grassroots team, you'll know the pain. It's never as simple as it should be. That's exactly why Discount Football Kits exists. They supply quality football kits at prices that actually work for grassroots clubs. No nonsense, no hard sell, just reliable team wear that turns up on time and looks the part on match day. From full team kits to training wear for growing squads, everything's built to make your life easier. If you're tired of overpaying or overthinking kits, head to discountfootballkits.com and get your team sorted today.
Right, now, here's what you came for, the main event. It is our end of season review, and we're going to go through a number of categories and pick our best moments, our worst moments, and talk over them. So, the first category is favourite moment of the season. And for the... well, I've just looked at your notes and I'm just going to correct some of that information.
I know. I've just realised. But carry on.
Some of my favourite moments. It's weird because there's no sort of jeopardy in the league. There's no like moment in terms of like, oh, we won an important game, because kind of no game is more important than the other. But bits that I enjoyed throughout the season was there was a game against Canvey away where a ball was getting played over the top of Alf, and a kid was running alongside him, and he controlled it first time. Like he back-heeled controlled it away from the kid, and sort of, I don't know if I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it. We will show this up on screen if you're watching on YouTube or watching on Spotify. But the way he controlled it and played it into his path to beat the kid running in the opposite direction, I absolutely love that. He did another sort of Maradona, his signature move. We're now going to call it, we're going to call it the Alfie. It's no longer the Maradona. He did that against Hookwell Panthers when he was sort of losing the ball on the touchline. And there was just loads of, just his demonstration of skill throughout the season would have been my favourite moments. There was a couple of Albi saves for me. There was one against the Reds where he comes out and sort of saves it with his leg, and then he saved against Ashington. But really, as a team, there aren't any moments, but just some of the football that we played and some of the goals that we scored are hard to pick any out specifically, but that was really my favourite moment. Lots of those moments where I'd just be sitting there going, like, I love to see this. I'm so happy that the boys are developing like this. So that's for me. What about you?
Well, I've picked 3 moments, and 2 of them were actually last season, it seems. So
yeah, so you're obviously an idiot.
Yeah, absolutely. The first one was Ollie pinging the ball off your head, which was last season, but that was
was it last season? It was last season.
I think it was, yeah. It's still just etched into my brain of you shouting at the kids, telling them to listen, and then a ball just comes out of nowhere and pings you in the back of the head. It's just absolutely amazing. And all the parents looking at you like, oh, is he going to explode? And you just laughed it off.
Well, they were laughing, which is why I laughed. But actually, I sort of contemplated murdering a child at that time. So, yeah.
I did ask Raf this as well, and he said his last-ditch tackle against Holbridge. Obviously, he can't really remember all of the games, but it was like the kid got past him, and it's one of those blocks where it's a slide tackle block, but he's in the air. It was a fantastic block, and that was the first thing that came into his mind. And then he said just winning the tournaments, but I count the tournaments as, is that the start of a season, end of a season?
I don't know. The Lee Ramblers one we won in the summer.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where you'd count that, but if that does count, then yeah, 100% picking
it's got to
that.
be up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's the clear winner if that is.
Yeah,
we're counting it as this season.
I would just say, again, it's not a specific moment, but the best moments for me are when he's done something great and he looks over and he's smiling, and that's his first reaction is he'll look over and he'll smile and he'll be like buzzing. And there was quite a few moments across the season that they're kind of etched into my brain. And we'll go on to the worst moments, but similar thing when things go bad and he's looking over at you. So it is a double-edged sword when he does that. But when it is going well and he looks over and he smiles, absolutely love it.
I think that because Dexter played in that tournament, we're going to count that. So that's going to be our favourite moment of the season. And that whole sequence of Dexter winning the ball, Freddie's bit of skill, laying it to Logan to score against Bowes and Pitts in the final of that Lee Ramblers Cup. All the kind of different celebrations from the boys on the pitch to the parents, sporting director Lambourne and Dexter's dad on the other side of the pitch, our celebrations, mine, yours. Yeah, that would be right up there for sure. Worst moments? Well, worst moment for me, definitely Alf wanted to come off during the 2-2 draw with the Whites, which still baffles me to this day because he was playing so well, but I heard something the parents shouted out, not specifically at him, just a general comment that put him off, and he was really upset, and we kind of felt like we'd got over that because he'd had those sort of issues in the second season. We thought we'd worked really hard to get over that, and seeing him come off upset and crying and not wanting to play, that was awful. And then the following week we play against Concord and he makes one mistake to start the game, and then that was it, he wanted to come off. Those were comfortably the worst moments, although there was obviously loads of times where I was complete helmet, but those were the worst times because I felt for him and he was upset. But what I will say, testament to him, is that doesn't happen anymore, which I'm super proud of him for that. So those are my worst moments.
And then for me, I remember it was against Holbridge again. Everything seems to happen against Holbridge, where it was 2-2. But I just remember at the time, I can't even remember the performance. All I remember, and again, this is a good lesson for people, is that I genuinely don't really remember the game. I now don't really remember Raf's performance, but I remember my reaction at the end of the game, and we were walking off, and I'm fuming because I felt like he gave up, and he was almost too scared to walk off with me to the car, that he walked off with Estelle, and I could just hear him being like, I don't want to be with Daddy, he's going to be mean. And I was like, oh God. But at the time, still walking off thinking, what do you mean I'm going to be mean? Like, you were crap out there, of course I'm going to be mean. Just a complete arsehole thing. But I just remember that, and every time the game finishes, I do try and, as hard as it is, I try and think back to that moment of being like, he said that he was genuinely almost scared to be around me at the end of a match, and that is just not something that's going to happen next season, I hope. No. And then I did ask Raf again about this one, and he said categorically, instantly, the game against the Blues when it was minus whatever, and he said he couldn't feel his feet, his hands, or even his face in that match, and he said that it was the worst day of his life.
Pussy!
Fair weather Brazilian, isn't he? Yeah, his worst moment was essentially being cold.
That kind of reminded me. So after the Whites game or the Concord game, I can't remember. No, I wasn't sympathetic. I absolutely ripped into him. I can't remember which one it was, but I was furious because you just reminded me that the reason I was angry, I was like, you gave up on your team. Like, that is not acceptable. Again, not doing that curiosity thing where you try to find out what the problem is. You just you judge the behaviour. You don't find out the cause. And yeah, that was pretty horrifying for me, and one I'm absolutely gutted about. My favourite goals, Fred's equaliser in the 2-2 draw against the Whites. Not only is it an amazing
last
finish,
kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, like basically the last kick, and it's just the way the ball comes to him, and he just sets himself. Like, you know, we'll say he's got ice in his veins. He sets it, puts it in the top corner, and then just runs back to the halfway line like he's done nothing. I'm on the sideline basically in tears. We lost 7-1, but Dexter's absolute zinger in that game, I loved, just because it was a proper like thunder bastard. And Parker scored about 3 goals where he went around the whole team. So those were all excellent. And then there was one from Fred against Holbridge where he smashes it, like unbelievable strike, hits the underside of the bar, goes in, and Dexter's reactions like amazing. Those are kind of very individual goals, but there are so many team goals that I probably liked more than any of those goals. But if we're just talking about goal of the season competitions, like those were the ones I'd pick.
Yeah, I'm the same with the team goals. I can't specifically picture the games, but we'll try and find some of them if you're watching on YouTube. But yeah, some of the team goals where it's just a tap in at the end are ridiculously good, and they're the ones that I can picture the goals. I just can't remember who they were against. One in particular where it was this is egging it up too much, but you know that amazing Arsenal goal where it's just one touch, bang, 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 and Wilshere pops it in. It was kind of like that. Ended up going across goal, and Freddie just tapped it in. That one
it's against the Blues, but it's a friendly.
Is that okay?
Is a friendly, yeah.
And then Parker's goals. One against the Blues again. I don't know if that is the friendly in the friendly, but it was just ridiculous solo goal. Freddie scored so many great goals, and then Logan's where it went absolute rocket top Binzel's. Brilliant goal from the left, first time, top corner. And Raf said his favourite goal was Logan's cross that went in last week because he thought it was I know, but he thought it was hilarious because it was clearly a cross and it somehow went in, and apparently that's his favourite goal of the season.
Yeah, I didn't ask any Alfie any questions because I didn't want any of these answers. So my favourite performances were 7-3 against Concord at home, because Concord are a really good team and we were losing that game. We came back. Hadley, I loved. We won 2-1 away, and Alfie barely played because that was a game that he'd hurt his knee and he came off. So, and actually that was a very sort of tricky situation and not something that I remember fondly in terms of how it went with me and him, but the way we played was brilliant and I love that. We lost 3-1 to the Whites, but I love the football that we played in the first half. Like, I just remember that sort of first half. I was just some of the way we were knocking the ball about. I loved. I think the wins against Holbridge I've liked, just because they're a good team, and we won. Obviously the ones at home where we won and played great football. Beating Ashington as well, and I look back at some of the goals in the football. I love those. So those are kind of. There's no like I say, for me, it's hard to pick out those sort of wins that mean something, because no game really means any more than another. It's just, I'm just picking games because there's no league, so there's nothing really to play for. I'm just picking out the games where I like the football that we played, basically.
Yeah, I couldn't really argue with any of those. The Hadley game in particular does really stick out. That 2-1, pissing down with rain. But that really sticks in my mind because Raf had like an amazing game in that particular one. But the whole team really got around that. It was such a close game. I can't believe it ended 2-1. There was so many chances. Brilliant game. So I certainly remember that one. And then, the Ashington one. I think Ashington are a really good team. But I think the team, our boys just, they blew them away. And it was a brilliant game to watch from our side.
Quick break. Before we dive back into the episode, we want to take a moment to help you level up your coaching game with the help of Football DNA, the ultimate coaching platform that's been a game changer for us. What do we love about it? It's super easy to use, saves us loads of time, and best of all, it doesn't just show you how to set up a practice, it teaches you how to coach it properly. And that's the key. The sessions are put together by top level coaches. We're talking first team staff at clubs like Celtic, Crystal Palace and West Ham. Proper pedigree. You get videos, diagrams, full explanations, downloadable PDFs, and if you need it, a full 36-week training plan tailored to the age group you are coaching. Our lads have loved the sessions. It's made our lives easier, improved our coaching, and taught us loads. Now we genuinely look forward to training and developing our players. Check it out at footballdna.co.uk. That's footballdna.co.uk, or you can download the app. Just search Football DNA. Trust us now and you'll thank us later.
Worst performance for me was 4-3 against the Greens. And by the way, I just want to make it clear, like, this is not taking anything away from what the opposition did to win those games. Like, I always feel like it sounds a little bit bitter. And like it's like the opposition didn't do anything, it was just your fault, which is not the case. The Greens, like, they unsettled us and they battled and they deserve to win. I just think that we didn't play our football, and it was one of those games. That I remember that being the game where we'd been doing really well up until that point, and then we stopped passing, and that was the game where we stopped passing, and everyone wanted to do it on their own, and that was why we played badly in that game. The 7-1 to Concord, obviously, if you lose 7-1, you can't be happy with that. And that was more about the attitude of the boys. And then the 2-2 with the Whites. The first 15 minutes were good, but other than that, I wasn't happy with how we played. But probably it has to be Concord.
Has to be Concord. We just down tools. That was the most frustrating thing. Was yes, a lot of the goals were avoidable, but it was just complete. Everyone just gave up. There was nothing going forward, really. There was certainly nothing at the back. It was just one of those games where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And I think Greens and Concord was the same weekend. We had a Saturday and a Sunday, or was within a week of each other?
No, it wasn't. It was the Greens and the Whites were in the same weekend.
That's right. And then maybe the following week was Concord. So it was like the 2 weekends of doom for us where we thought everything was going wrong. So I think emotionally we weren't in a good place either.
No. Definitely not. And for me, I was thinking about like what my worst performance of the season, and there are basically too many to pick from. I mean, impossible. It's like if we did a Mount Rushmore of me being a prick, it'd be a hard one to. My Mount Rushmore of crash outs is absolutely elite. But all fault to Alfie on just basically every week. That's why it's impossible to pick one, because
you're being way too harsh, mate.
No, I agree. I would say definitely I've got loads better, and definitely this side of in the new year in 2026, definitely loads better. But I regret so much. of the anger, the not being curious and asking why. And just shouting and being angry and being unreasonable. I really we'll talk about what we want to aim for, but one of my biggest aims is to stop focusing on him and stop watching him all the time like a hawk, and just treat him with the same space that I give the other kids to be. And I do think I've got better at it, but I'm still nowhere near I should be. And from a coaching perspective, there are a couple of games which I can't really remember that well. Maybe the one against the Reds where we won 4-2, but they sort of looked like they were going to come back into it. And maybe there's some other ones where the game was turning, and rather than staying calm and giving the boys instructions, which by the way I think I've got loads better at half time. I always think I give 1 or 2 real clear instructions. Just getting annoyed and shouting stuff out like work harder and blah blah blah, which doesn't really mean anything, and not giving any guidance, just being worked up. And from a coaching perspective, those are the times where I look back and I think I could have done a better job there.
What was the moment last season where like time stood still and everything just went silent when you shouted something out? Like I just couldn't.
I think that was the first season, maybe, where I shouted out. I was shouting at Alfie for not working hard enough.
Just everything went quiet, wasn't it? But
yeah.
I couldn't picture you doing that now. So that was like one side of the spectrum. The other side is where you are now, and I think it's night and day from where it is, mate.
Definitely, but I still think, like, moving forward, I just need to stop. Like I say, call it CCTV, like the CCTV on your own kid. That's just got to stop. And my funniest moment, well, I didn't see him do the splits, but if Albie, I'm going to look back on the video because Albie doing the splits in the middle of a game is just incredible. But also in Ashington, where we're winning and he's having an absolute blinder and his family are there, and in the middle of that game, and like when the goalie has to go through a wee, it's like taking the armour off a knight. You know, like you need like helpers. Goalkeepers need a helper to get their gloves off and all their gear off. So he goes like that. He sprints. You know how he doesn't walk anywhere. Everything is a sprint, and he legs it. And I was like, "Where's he going? What's the matter with him?" Then he goes the wrong way to the toilet. He goes the wrong way, and Alfie and Raf are creasing because he goes the wrong way to the toilet. So, Albie, my man, you make me laugh all the time.
It's got to be that moment. He was going to me for about 5 minutes. Mike. And I was like, yeah, I'll come to you in a minute, mate. I'll come to you in a minute. And then he went really like, Mike. I looked over and went, I need to go to the toilet now.
Then he does the splits.
Yeah. And I asked Raf what his funniest moment. Instantly, Albie running off to the toilet, definitely.
Yeah.
And then for me to try and think of something else, there was just, at the time it kills me, but when you look back, the amount of times Ollie has just aired us every time we go to give him a high five, he must have done it 1,000 times this year, and we fall for it absolutely every single time. Looking back, it's funny. It's so funny, and just everything he does, that boy, it just cracks me up.
Scaling the fence at Len Forge, like genuinely, like death defying. Like, what are you doing? You're going to die. He's just 100 miles an hour, and yeah, he's funny. What are you proud of? That was the next category. I am super proud of the football that we played. Now, listen, I absolutely 100% can look at some of our results and feel frustrated and annoyed about them, and I was at the time. I feel like we lost games we shouldn't have done. In the tight games where the fine margins against the good teams, and we didn't always have the edge in those moments. But as we've gone on this journey and we're coming to the end of the third year, I've definitely come to realise it's not about all the wins, although I do care about that. Obviously, I'm not going to pretend I don't. But the football we've played, that is what I care about. I take real pride in that, and not real pride in the fact that I'm in any way responsible for it, because as we say many times, one, you have to have the players to do it, and the boys are talented. Two, they do free lines, complete football academy, and ballers. So, you know, there's a lot of people that are contributing to the way that they're developing. It's not, we can in no way claim sole credit for that. But some of the football and the goals and the passing, I'm super, super, super proud of it. I love it. I look back and I think, wow, like, that is such a good goal. I can't believe they've done that in a game. And I think I'm proud of myself for getting better with Alf. Now, listen, I'm not perfect. Far from it. Still would give myself a pretty low mark out of 10, but I've got better with him. And I'm insanely proud of Alf. I would say he is one of the most improved in the team. Now, he won like most improved last year, so we can't win it again. But I thought about Alf and Raf, and I would put Alf and Raf in that category, most improved, because their technical ability and confidence at the back for me has been one of the key developments of the season. And not only has he become a really good footballer, but Alf's learned to cope with mistakes. So those are the things that I'm proud of.
When you look at Alf as well, certainly last season, but the start of this season as well, the fluctuation in his confidence. It was literally, we don't know which Alfie's going to turn up. And we don't really talk about that much, mate. Like for months and months and months now, it's, maybe effort levels, but in terms of confidence, and not wanting to play, and the real lows that we had with him last season in particular and the start of this season, they've just gone. And not to say they won't come back, they might do. He's still really so young, but I've been mega proud of him for how level he's been, especially at the back end of this season. So I think he's definitely right up there for most improved. And for me with Raf, it's similar vibes. I mean, some of the stuff he's done this year has made me so proud. He's like, the confidence on the ball, I just could never have done that. Back in the day, it was playing as like a left back. It was either boot it up the pitch or boot it out, and that was it. The thought of getting on the ball with no one behind you and taking on 2 or 3 players is just mind-blowing to me, and I think he's just done so well. And when I asked him this question, he was just like, he's just been so proud of everything that the team's done this season. He thinks it's been so much fun, which again made me proud. The other thing is that, and this actually was crazy, this is why I like doing this exercise, was Dexter and Parker. This is their first season with us. It feels like they've been with us forever, but
100%.
Just integrating them into the team has been basically seamless. They've taken us up another level. They're such lovely little boys. Their family's amazing. They've like integrated into our setup, and obviously the boys have integrated into the team. And then it made me think, holy shit, this is the first season that we've done 7-a-side. Again, it feels like we've been doing that forever.
That is mental.
It's mental, isn't it? I feel like we've been doing 7-a-side for years. So when you think of that, brand new, I know it's a brand new format and setup for everyone in our age group, but I feel like our boys on the whole have just been absolutely amazing. And the first year going up to 7-a-side, is one that I'll look back on fondly.
Go Cardless makes collecting payments simple with automatic direct debit. Membership fees come in on time every month without watching parents dig through their pockets only to find a crisp packet or race into the cash point while you wait in the rain. There's no more, I'll give it to you next week. You can just drop a link into your WhatsApp group and bingo, payments are sorted. It handles the admin too, automatically keeping track of who's paid, what's outstanding, and retrying any payments that didn't go through, helping your club keep a steady cash flow for pitch hire, kits and equipment. You can even pause or adjust payments when families need flexibility, keeping your club supportive and inclusive. Go Cardless takes care of the money so you can focus on running great sessions and growing your club.
The move to 7-a-side has been so good for us, and I've really enjoyed it. My biggest lesson, I was actually thinking this, we're talking about our effort levels, and you know what? Sometimes the more and more I think about it, when Dan Abrahams in that episode said that effort is a skill, and it's not just something that you can like tell someone to do. When I talk to him about it and I actually watch it, sometimes I don't think it's about effort levels. It's about coaching, decision making, and choices. And like, I deem it as not an effort, but I don't think he's reading the situation in the same way that I am, or like the immediacy of what needs to be done, or he's assuming he might get there. He is not sensing the danger in the same way that I am, because I am 44, well, almost 44, and he's 9. So he doesn't sense the danger in the same way that I do because he doesn't have the reps. And I've been thinking about that. So, and that leads me to my biggest lesson, which is sometimes just keeping your mouth shut and letting them play. And although I feel like I'm getting a little bit, there's been some moments in the last few weeks, the weeks where I wasn't saying anything, even when he was doing something that annoyed me. And then a moment later, he'd do something brilliant. And that's because I haven't got into his head. And actually just leaving him. And like sometimes, he doesn't have to have the perfect action every single time. And just leaving him, shutting up. And, that has helped. Letting go of the losses, unequivocally, like the biggest lesson for us. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it bothers me. But it's just not even, no comparisons compared to where we were. Just let it go, man. It doesn't matter. You're going to play next week. There's no league table. There's no points. There's no trophy. And next week you'll probably turn up and be amazing. So who cares?
Such a good point. We used to call each other for like an hour.
Awful.
Debrief.
Yeah, it'd be awful. Yeah.
Just sending ourselves further into the grave. And then now it's like, you might get a text being like, I'm a little bit gutted still about that result.
Yeah.
But that's about it, really.
Exactly. It's never like there's never a deep dive like of what happened, and also because we're getting better at handling it with our sons. Like often it would be like a crash out, like, oh, why did I do that? And like sometimes we go back and forth on that, but not massively. I think learning that lesson from Max Smith, understanding that kids football is so transitional, was a big lesson for me because it gave me perspective on defending. And yeah, that for me is the things I've learned.
I guess on the opposite end around, there is a time to keep your mouth shut and the other time to talk is about the language you use. And I'm still not great at this. And this is, one of the things I want to improve on is just how you communicate with kids. And we've had so many different coaches and personalities on the pod that they all say the same thing. It's the way you communicate with them. They won't understand tactical instructions said in the same way as you would to an adult or, a teenager. They have to understand it. And even when you really almost dumb it down, they still might not understand it. And a good example of that was with Raf, where I remember it's so embarrassing when I kept shouting at that game, stay central, stay central. I must have shouted it 40 times and I was going mental that he wasn't doing it. And then afterwards he said, I didn't know what you were saying. Like, stay central to me means stay in the middle of the pitch, as in like at the halfway line. Hence why there were so many gaps behind it. Or he was like, stay central, but if he's drifted out to the wing, but stay in the middle of the pitch on the left hand side. He didn't really understand what I meant. So when I then in a calm environment, not highly pressurized, in the middle of a match, at the end of the game, when we sat down at home, explained to him what I meant with that. It felt like it clicked straight away. And it's simple things like that. It's the way you communicate and when you communicate is a massive lesson that I've learned. And then the final thing was that kids have dips in form. It is completely inevitable. It's going to happen. No kid is absolute going to be 10 out of 10 every single week. And you just need to know when it's going to happen. Sorry, you just need to know what to do when it happens.
Absolutely, and just relax because it's only temporary. Favorite episode that we've done, I think for me, just being the first one in the studio, just remembering now. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. But yeah, I just thought it was a moment for me where I was like, what an achievement. And it's not an achievement in the sense that, like, because the setup is falling into a lap. Like, it's not like we've earned that studio. Like, it's come about through people that we know and whatnot. But just the way that the pod has grown, and then to be in that studio, it kind of felt like we'd reached a moment where it felt a little bit more professional, and then it was just fun being in there, really.
Yeah, it's got to be that. But to not say the same answer, I think, look, we had so many amazing guests, but the reason we've got this fella back on 3 times, Charlie Austin, I loved those episodes. They're so much fun. He's so honest. He's hilarious, and he gives some brilliant advice. So in terms of a guest, that one really, really does stick out in my mind as a great episode. For sure.
Charlie, absolutely. And the fact Charlie messages us like throughout the season as well. So like he's proper invested, and I love that. How much did I enjoy it? I have absolutely loved it. Genuinely loved it. Like the football, we scored 115 goals in, I think it was less than 30 games. I can't remember now. 30-ish games, something like that. So like I worked out it was like nearly about 4.5 goals every game that we scored. Just like the only game we didn't score in, just props to Reece and the Blues and Tom, was we didn't score in one game. We lost 2-0 to the Blues, and their defence is. They haven't lost a game since we beat them 4-3, and I think that was before Christmas. I can't remember, to be honest with you, when that one was. But I've just loved the football. I loved it. The goals, the passing. It's been really enjoyable watching that and seeing them develop. Bits I haven't enjoyed is training, and just when they mess about in training, don't listen. But that's a small price to pay for the football that we've seen.
I've enjoyed it immensely. I think I started to think about how much I've enjoyed it and painting some pictures around what it's like. And I think coaching a kids football team is a bit like being a conductor of like this most insane, often tone deaf orchestra, where you've got one kid smashing drums, another like gently playing the violin, one doing fart noises into a trumpet. but most of the time
that's Ollie. That's 100% Ollie.
100% Ollie. And most of the time it is literally just noise, and it's just you trying to stay calm. But every now and again they make like a banging tune together. Everything works in time, and there's just these magical moments. And I feel like that is essentially the perfect way of describing what grassroots kids football is. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I've absolutely loved it all season.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. What could we have done better as individuals, and what could we have done better as a team? So I think for me, definitely it's hard to be positive and fun. I don't know what it is. I think I've always been like it. It's like I don't see football as fun. Football isn't positive and fun to me. Football is let's get to work. And I think that I'm too strict and too serious in training and on game in matches. I need to loosen up. And make it a little bit more fun for the boys and be a bit more playful, which I do find difficult because I just want us to get better. So when we have a training session, I'm like, there's no time for messing about. We've got an hour. We've got to get better. Obviously, I was insanely hard on Alfie at times. It's hard to put into words how much I regret it. But I do know that I've improved. And I just want to learn to lay off him and give him that space more consistently than I have done across the season. And as a team, I think it's just learning to defend when you've got the ball. So we concede a lot of goals in transition, and that's because that is the nature of kids football. But just having the team set up so they're switched on and ready to defend even when we've got it, so that when we lose it, can we get back and defend? But yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, and I'm just touching on your point around, being more fun and less strict. It's such a balance, isn't it? Because when we have gone the other end and made it super fun, it just descends into chaos and they get absolutely nothing out of it. So it is striking that fine balance. I think we both need to definitely improve on that. And for me, it's more just broadly my coaching ability, confidence to coach. I've had you there the entire time, which is just incredible. And when you're not there, and the very, very, very odd occasion, I just need to build up the confidence to be able to run my own sessions and just be better at coaching the kids, because obviously that will help you out as well and loosen the burden of having all of that pressure on coaching the kids. And then also, I've just said it before, but the language, just having more appropriate language for kids their age, is not that I'm swearing at them. It sounds like I'm swearing, but it's more, bringing things down to their level so that they understand exactly what you're trying to say. And then the main one for me is not losing it in the moment. The amount of times in a match, mainly in a match, you're saying to me, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I'll just be like, yeah, I'm going to lose it. And you just go, you're off. It's that ability to just keep your mouth shut and the body language. That's just probably going to be an ongoing improvement point, but one that hopefully will be better than this season.
Now, how do you rate your son's season? So, I've seen what your score is basically what I was with, but it's funny that we're basically the same. So I'll put that I'd put 7, 8, but I feel like 7.5. Well, yeah, I mean that is when you put the average of the two numbers together, that is it. I just think there's been odd dips here and there, which we kind of spoke about. I think that he is a lovely footballer. I think I would describe him as a footballer, if you see what I mean. You don't describe him as, big, fast, strong. Like, you don't talk about the physical aspects of him. You talk about he's just good at passing the ball, and he's got excellent ball mastery. I think for me, it's just about him being more consistent. So we'd have kind of runs of games that were great, and then maybe not like where he's playing badly. I don't think he's ever really played badly. I just think there's games where he's not impacting the game. He's not involved as much as he needs to be. And that's not necessarily always down to him. That's just the flow of the game and the way it happens. But I would be challenging him to play with greater effort and intensity, and challenge himself to be more confident. Alf gave himself a 6 out of 10, and that made me feel a bit sad, if I'm honest. But I do think with Alf, if he'd come off the back of, like, say he'd played well, and then I said to him, how do you think you played all season? I think that would probably change to a 7. I don't know why he said 6 at the time, but it made me feel a bit sad and guilty, feeling that maybe I've not given him the belief that he deserves, and that's 100% my fault. I am too hard on him.
I think it's like you say, though. It's like, if he came off and he had a worldie, they only really remember the last few weeks anyway in terms of games. He would have said he was an 8 or a 9. But if he's had a decent enough game, then he might just say, 6 or 7. So I think it's probably more timing, mate.
For me, is the player that I've seen at Three Lions, that I see at Complete Footballer Academy, that I see at Ballers all the time. Like, that player that is playing with freedom and joy and with intensity. You know, the amount of times he's won Player of the Night at Complete Football Academy and Three Lions when he was doing that was crazy. And I see him, and I just want to bring that boy out a little bit more. But I'm super, super mega proud of his ability that we've already spoke about in terms of recovering from mistakes. So overall, 7.5 out of 10. I think he's had a really good season. I told him that, and I'm super proud of him. He does Complete Football Academy, he trains with Flick. He does Ballers, he trains with us. He's put the work in, and I think that has been reflected in the level that he's reached.
Yeah, and there's a reason we call him Ralphie, because you could basically echo all of that for Raf. It's been a pretty solid season, but there's just been ups and downs. So if you took the average across all of them, when he's had a bit of a stinker and when he's been exceptional, you're looking at a 7.58. And I know probably people will listen to this and be like, you shouldn't be rating your kids and blah blah blah. We're not taking this seriously, all right? We're not rating them after every game. This is just a way of us describing how we felt like their performances have been across the season, and overarchingly it's been very good. So I've been, as you said, mega proud of them. I think they're really coming on leaps and bounds, and hopefully they'll have a similar type of season next year, but just with a bit more consistency.
Talking of next season, aims for next season for me would be, as a coach, would be to loosen up. As I said, just be a little bit more fun and positive and not so strict. Want to, again, and that reflects in the way that I treat Alf. But as a team, would just be to shore up defensively and get us to play with the same intensity defensively as we do when we attack.
And then for me, it's just improving on just general coaching and language, as I said, and then just spend more time with Raf just outside playing. You know, it's easier in the summer, but when we've been going to training in the last few months, just that hour earlier and just having a kickabout, he's loved it. Absolutely loved just having a kickabout. So the softer side of things has got to be just getting out there and just having more fun. And then the other thing was just as it's felt like seamlessly integrated Dexter and Parker into the team. It's doing the same with Emre, who's joining the team. That's a big aim, is to get him settled, get him friends with all the boys, and hopefully that'll be a seamless integration. Yeah,
I'm looking working with VC ID and getting our new kit. Like, I'm buzzing for that.
Oh yeah.
We're working with Discount Football Kits and VC ID. Like, they're the same. They're part of the same company. They're just different brands, but getting a new kit, well excited for that. You should go and check those guys out. If you want VCID, you can basically design your own kit. So make sure you go over there if you're getting a new one for the new season. I'm looking forward to having Emre in the team and seeing just what I've been excited about is in 3 weeks, the development I've seen of Emre with all the training he's doing. I want to see where he can get to. And the same just for me is where can we take the team? Where can I get Alfie to? And just what's the next level for us? I'm looking forward to try and reach that.
Just the only thing else to add to that really is the tournaments. We're in tournament season. I can't wait. The episodes are going to be pretty funny as well, I'd say, because tournaments can it's all the different emotions distilled into one afternoon. So stay with us. We've got a few planned. I can't wait for them. The real jeopardy of it. That's what causes all the emotion, but it's going to be brilliant.
We don't really record the tournaments on VO. Would we do you reckon we should do that this year? Maybe the VO Go. I was thinking the VO Go is a little bit more.
It's smaller. It's more agile. It's all the setup, isn't it? Because there's loads of pitches, loads of stuff going on. You've got to set up really quickly. Maybe we will bring the go.
And if you are getting ready for the new season, let us help you get a VO. Look at that. Bosh!
Seamless.
Boom. Yes, so we've got some offers for you. Regular listeners will know with VO. The VO Go is our first offer. That turns not 3, now 2 because of the update. Now 2 iPhones. It turns into an AI panoramic camera system for match recording, and you can save 50% on the VO Go with code IOKF VO Go. That's code IOKF VO Go. 50% off. Go and get that bad boy. That's a starting point for you. But if you're ready to go big to the main event, then you need to get yourself the VO Cam free, which is what we use for our games. You can go over to our YouTube channel. You can check out our highlights. We put all clips on there. And that's all captured with a VO Cam free, which is a 4K HDR camera that automatically records, tracks and live streams matches. And you can save £200 on the kit with the code IOKF VO Cam free. So that's IOKF VO Cam free. Get yourself one, 200 quid off. Get it for the new season. Get it in for the tournaments. Yeah, and like I say, you want to see what that footage looks like? Go over to our YouTube channel, IOK Football. And yeah, subscribe, like, turn on the notifications bell, all that business. Now we've got a grassroots hero, Mike. So this is the Go Cardless grassroots hero, Chris Hollidge. He is coach for FC Elmstead Under 8s. And he's been nominated by Dan Perkins, who is the manager of that Under 8s team. Now, Dan has had the pleasure of knowing Chris since their kids first met at the soccer school a few years ago. He's an incredibly modest former professional. So I certainly hate this nomination, but he's thoroughly deserved for everything he gives to FC Elmstead and the young players he coaches. Chris manages and coaches both the under 11 and under 8 bantams, and his impact across the club goes far beyond the touchline. As a long-standing committee member, he's a passionate advocate for what grassroots football should be all about, the kids. He cuts through the noise and politics to make sure every child pulling on an FC Elmstead shirt gets the best possible experience. As a coach, his technical knowledge is exceptional, but what really sets him apart is his ability to communicate and connect with the players of all ages. He makes the game accessible, enjoyable and challenging in all the right ways. As Dan is saying, as someone finding his own way in grassroots coaching, he has learned a huge amount from working alongside Chris over the past couple of years. His guidance, experience and steady approach, built on a lifetime in the game, has been invaluable. Chris lives by the mantra, never too high, never too low. We second that. Chris. That is a good bit of advice for any coach, which might be the best advice anyone can give when navigating the roller coaster of grassroots football. Chrissy boy, I don't know you, but I love you already, mate. That's some good knowledge. It sounds like you're doing a great job. And if you know a grassroots hero, you have to send us your nomination because we'll feature them on the pod. Please send your nominations to It's Only Kids Football Podcast at gmail.com. That's It's Only Kids Football Podcast at gmail.com, or message us on social media at IOK Football. Go Cardless supports grassroots football by partnering with local football associations to fund inclusive programs and facilities while helping clubs collect fees more easily through automated low-cost payments. So first of all, I want to give a thank you to all the listeners who sent in questions and shout-outs for this week's episode. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. But because there were so many, and we feel like we owe you for all your kind words and support and listening that's been amazing across the season, we're going to do a little bonus episode, and that is going to go out on Thursday this week. So make sure you've got your notifications on and you get that one in your inbox. And yeah, if you sent a question in or there was a shout out, it will be on that episode. Don't worry. Now, that reminds me, we have to thank the listeners. What a season it has been. The support, the just being there, jumping in the comments, creating a community, sending us emails, messages, insane. We are so, so grateful. We really are just a pair of prats from Leon C that have absolutely no clue. And it means a lot to us, genuinely. It's crazy when you're just some Burke, some average bloke, and someone messages in to say that the podcast means something to them. So we're super grateful, right, Mike?
Absolutely, yeah. All year, I mean, it's been incredible, and genuinely every message means so much. keep them coming. We really appreciate the support. Make sure you're sharing it with all your friends as well, and everyone in the club, because some of the messages we get, it's really helping people by just us being brutally honest, and we'll continue to be brutally honest. It's been a ride, and hopefully we'll be continuing for the long run.
And another year of not getting cancelled, so let's celebrate that.
Yeah, somehow.
But we are not going anywhere, so this is not goodbye at all. We will have an episode out on Thursday, and we will just run as normal across the summer, helping you prepare your team, and obviously reviewing our pre-season friendlies, talking about our preparation, our tournaments, etc. So we are not going anywhere, but thank you for all your support this season. Now, this is where we're going to wrap it up, because if you've been on this journey this season, you'll know it's never just about the football. It's the messages at all hours, chasing refs, payments, pitches, availability. It's dealing with opposition managers, managing parents, planning training after a long day, and then lying awake replaying games in your head like you're in a Champions League final, even though it's under nines on a muddy pitch in the wind. It's the pressure, the stress, the second guessing every decision, especially when your own kid's involved. Trying to get that balance right and not always getting it right. It's a thankless job a lot of the time. People see the match on a Sunday. They don't see the hours, the energy, the emotional investment that goes into it. You're expected to be a coach, a project manager, and sometimes even a counsellor, with none of the required qualifications half the time. You're just figuring it out as you go. But then there's the other side. The laughter, the moments, the goals, the little bits of football that make you stop and go, yeah, that's why we do it. Watching them grow, not just as players, but as people. That's what keeps you coming back. Because grassroots football, that's where it all starts. So to every coach out there feeling it right now, the pressure, the stress, the exhaustion, well done. You have smashed it. Give yourself a pat on the back and crack open a cold one. And just remember, don't let anyone tell you it's only kids football, because it's not. It's so much more than that.
If you enjoyed the podcast, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. And if you want to check out our previous episodes, just click here.